Hello again, everyone. It's This Week in Agribusiness meteorologist Greg Solye. We're in for Max Armstrong. Welcome to Farm Progress Dateline Drought. Our coverage of the drought of 2012 is brought to you by Genuity Drought Guard Hybrids. Well, an absolute pleasure to meet and greet with some of you over the past day or so out at Farm Progress, the show there at Boone, Iowa. Mighty close during the afternoon hours, I bet you, with temperature readings up and above the 90-degree mark, and that will continue for the day on Thursday. Bit of a breeze helping with some degree of ventilation. Nights have been pleasant at least, and more importantly, no mention of rain in the forecast till sometime Thursday night and into Friday. Speaking of rain, a prolific rainmaker taking aim at areas of the lower Mississippi Valley. Had an opportunity during that noon show with Max and Orion to come upstage, talk weather. Prior to that, Orion was giving away some rain gauges to some folks in Iowa who have at least attended the program and the show. Areas in through Missouri and Arkansas haven't seen anything for weeks and months. Fair number of you in the audience there suggested to Orion that we maybe pass out some of those rain gauges for folks coming up out of Arkansas and Missouri. You will certainly need it big time. Unfortunately, this will be a flooding rain event. The advisories and watches are in effect from the Ozarks on southward. Be a corridor of 5 to 10, maybe 15-inch rains into parts of the far southwestern Corn Belt. Standing water, runoff potential. Farther to the east and southeast, some of the highest rated soybeans have been found in Mississippi. That area taking a licking with wind and rain. Well, we'll see how far north now this rain shield extends over the next 3 to 5 days. Significant and perhaps even heavy amounts of story into areas of the central and southern Corn Belt. Here it is. That moisture pattern from Louisiana in through Arkansas into Missouri, 5-inch in some areas of the mid-Missouri Valley, central sections of Illinois, Indiana, some spots close to 6 inches anticipated there. Everyone from about the southern Lake Michigan shoreline and the I-80 corridor on southward will get these rains. Garden variety through the southern Canadian prairie, the monsoonal moisture pattern beginning to weaken just a wee bit over the southwestern states. Look at the pattern shift. We've talked about this the past few weeks on the 4-week forecast on This Week in Agribusiness. We'll do so this weekend. Signs of a cool-off, and here it is, a little bit overdone, but the Fed's suggesting the next 8 to 14 days. Cool-off slated for much of the Midwest. Late season heat out along the divide. More importantly now, here is the precip outlook, and it is widespread across the key drought areas of the southern plains, much of the western Corn Belt, into the Great Lakes region. The start of a cooler and much wetter weather pattern, the weather guy says here, in the weeks to come as we move deeper into fall and early winter. That's a look at weather right now. Now on to markets and Arlen Suderman.
This is Arlen Suderman at the Farm Progress Show. You can probably hear some of the show noise behind me. It's a bustling, busy day here at the show, a great day. A little bit on the dry side and the hot side, kind of reminding us of this year's drought and what it's been like. But it was actually drought on the other side of the world that was in today's markets. Hi, I'm filling in today for Bryce Knorr, who's still on assignment to update you on today's markets. And Russia was the lead factor again in today's markets. Leading the wheat market higher, some strength in soybeans as well. But as we look at the wheat market, the Ag Ministry in Russia has admitted this week that this year's wheat crop is probably as small as what we saw back in 2010 when drought devastated the crop. So a pretty serious problem, and they had some bigger stocks then. As you recall, that was a year when we saw Chicago wheat futures essentially double in about 5 weeks' time over concerns when Russia put an embargo on to limit exports. There's been a lot of speculation whether they will do the same again this year. We've argued that they probably won't do another embargo because they took a pretty big political hit from other countries in that. They're now a member of WTO. They'd like to keep good relations, but they probably will use some type of export tariff to limit those exports. Because right now they're on pace to run out of exportable wheat supplies by the end of November. The Russian Ag Ministry did admit today that it will be meeting later this week to discuss the whole export situation. Export embargo is not likely, but they would consider other fiscal means. That's code for export tariffs or perhaps something else to limit those exports. We also saw some buying come in on the soybean market after a technically positive day yesterday. The trade is a little bit more convinced of the tight fundamentals in the soybean pit. Whenever prices drop, we see China and other end users come in to buy the market. We've seen that again this week as well. So we're more a lack of sellers. Overall, this market has been a very thin market, easy to move prices either direction. For today, it was higher. There's no one really wanting to be short or sold the soybean or the wheat market. Corn was a follower. Strong resistance for corn at 8.49. For soybeans, the objective for the lead contract is 7.17 3/4, the all-time record high for a lead contract we set back in July. Looking for a test of that, perhaps as early as overnight tonight or tomorrow. Could be some more buy stops above that. Like to see a little bit stronger volume in the trade, though, to be convinced that this is the move that I expect to eventually come to take us to higher prices. This is Arlen Suderman, an update of today's markets.